Good afternoon. The purpose for today's briefing, and it will be brief, is to provide an update on ongoing investigation related to the shooting at the Columbiana Center on Saturday. Today we are announcing the arrest of a second suspect, Marquis Love Robinson, 20-year-old male from Columbia. He's charged with 9 counts of assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, attempted murder, unlawful carry of a handgun. He's housed in the Lexington County Detention Center. A bond hearing is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Additionally, the suspect that we arrested Saturday after the shooting, Mr. Dwayne Price, he continues to be housed in the Lexington County Detention Center. We will be adding 9 additional charges of aggravated assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, as well as attempted murder, to his current charge of unlawful carry. We've also obtained arrest warrants for our third suspect. That is Amari Sincere Jamal Smith. He has a nickname of Mari. He's a 21-year-old male from Columbia. He's wanted for 9 counts of assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, attempted murder, and unlawful carry of a pistol. We're asking for the public's assistance in locating Mr. Smith. If anyone sees him or knows his whereabouts, we're asking him to call 911 or call our tip line that was set up for this incident at 803-545-3525. And he absolutely should be considered armed and dangerous. We also have an update on our victims. We have a 15th victim that reported to law enforcement yesterday during some interviews. We learned that this victim was injured while standing beside someone that was hit by gunfire, so that brings our total number of victims to 15. That was a non-life-threatening injury, obviously. We still have 9 confirmed gunshot victims, 1 that remains in ICU, and a total of 6 victims that suffered other injuries related to the incident. The motive for the shooting hasn't changed since what I briefly mentioned to. There was some type of ongoing dispute between the people that we've identified as suspects so far. We have seized 2 handguns that we believe were used in the shooting. We've collected ballistic evidence from the scene. That will be processed at the state law enforcement lab. I've got to express my sincere thanks to the public that has contacted us that were at the mall or knew somebody that was at the mall that had information, that has reached out to our tip line. I would also express my appreciation to 11th Circuit Solicitor Rick Hubbard and his staff, who we have been in constant consultation with since this started. And lastly, I want to acknowledge the outstanding work of all of our investigators in the Criminal Investigations Bureau. They haven't stopped since Saturday. They've worked around the clock and have just done a tremendous job on that. So we still have a lot of work to do. We still are asking the public to call if they have information. Again, this was a traumatic event for a lot of people that were at the mall, and we understand that takes sometimes a moment for things to register, for you to remember things. So as you do, we're asking that you call us and let us know, what you might have seen or heard. Every little piece of information is helpful. I'll try to address a few questions.
Do we have any new information in terms of the relationship between Mr. Price, Sincere Jamal, and Mr. Robinson?
Just that we can acknowledge there was some acquaintance. They had run into each other before.
So we don't have any insight as to what the nature of that conflict was?
Not that I'm sharing with you, other than they did know each other.
Were there any prior arrests or charges against any of these individuals?
There's nothing that we're at liberty to discuss at this briefing.
The 9 counts of aggravated assault, is that to signify that the bullets from Mr. Price and perhaps the other gentleman, Mr. Robinson, hit 9 individuals, or that they just fired near 9 individuals, or what would be the significance of that?
We had 3 people showed up at a crowded mall on a Saturday night carrying weapons, and they fired their guns, and we had 9 people hit by gunfire.
Do you guys usually prepare for holidays? Do you expect violence like this around, big holidays like this?
Of course not. At a public mall like that, do we expect violence? Absolutely not. This was, a tragic event that, we mentioned Saturday that unfortunately we have to prepare for, but, there was no information that would give us concern that anything was, was planned to happen. We do believe that this was just a happened circumstance that occurred with these individuals, but because of an ongoing dispute and the fact that they all were armed, emotions took over, and you had firearms that were introduced into a dispute, and gunfire was exchanged, and innocent people got injured in the crossfire.
Yes, sir. And I know too, you and Sheriff Lott have been talking about gun violence in the community quite a bit lately. Is there any message that you would like to send to the public in that regard?
Something's got to change. We need our legislators to legislate. We need more accountability for people that illegally and carry firearms. This is not an indictment on gun ownership. This is an indictment on the availability of firearms on the street for people that have illegal intentions or nefarious intentions to use those firearms against others.
For Mr. Robinson's unlawful possession charge, did he own that gun legally and just not have a CWP, or what was the nature of it?
We're not going to discuss the ownership. What I'll emphasize, if you had 3 people that brought guns into a crowded mall that were in dispute with one another and chose to pull their guns and fire their guns, and 9 people were shot.
Was this a premeditated conflict on behalf of Mr. Sincere, or Jamal Sincere, Mr. Robinson?
We don't know what what their state of mind was.
Chief, can you talk about what steps the police department either does take or can take to prepare or prevent this kind of scenario of a mass shooting in a crowded public place like this?
We have to, prepare to respond, obviously, and we do that, and that was on full display Saturday. We have to advocate for there to be consequences for when people illegally carry guns and use guns, so there's a deterrent for that makes people think twice before they carry a gun into a mall in a situation like that. Then, of course, we got to work with with our partners, our business owners, and our private sector to have security measures in place that would potentially deter somebody from committing a crime, whether it's a crime against persons or crime against property, and that would be to have video surveillance and security measures in place that would prevent, but also help us quickly solve something if it occurs.
Mr. Rutherford made the argument yesterday that his client was acting in self-defense when he fired. Is that your understanding of the situation?
I don't share that understanding of it. Again, I'm going to say this one more time. 3 people chose to come to the mall carrying guns, concealed, that have a dispute with one another, and then they chose to pull the guns and fire their guns, and 9 people got hit.
Chief, is there any concern that this might extend to more people beyond the 3 gentlemen who are involved, that anybody might have reason?
Any concern, or do we think that there'll be other people?
Do you think more people that might get involved in this dispute? This might
I don't know.
cater to these 3 men?
can't speak to that. You know, there may be additional charges, or some other people, we may develop some leads as far as that goes, but, you know, I can't speak to how any one person would react to the fact that we're arresting these 3 people for, you know, firing guns and hitting 9 people.
How did officers find Mr. Robinson?
They found him in Columbia overnight.
I know there was a lot of social media video that circulated from this event. Are you guys using that to help continue the investigation and look further into what happened?
Are we using social media to investigate?
Yes,
Is that your question?
That the public might have gotten?
I mean, we always look at all open source information that, you know, might, you know, provide direction or assist us in an investigation. We would look at that, or, you know, any other lead that might come our way.
Yes, sir. And do you need people to send that to you, or will you guys just find it?
Whatever platform one chooses to share information with us, we will certainly receive that, you know, whether that is through Facebook or through our online reporting, or by calling our tip line, or calling Crime Stoppers, or calling 911. Any option, there's no option that's off the table for providing information to us. Thank you very much.
On 9 counts of assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, along with attempted murder and the unlawful carrying of a weapon. He has his first court appearance scheduled for 8:30 in the morning. We're being told by the chief they are looking for a 3rd suspect, 21-year-old Amari Smith. He will face the same charges: assault and battery, attempted murder, unlawful carrying of a weapon, and the gentleman who was arrested over the weekend in connection with all this, Jawayne Price. He is still behind bars, we understand today, and he is going to face additional charges. Also 9 counts of assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature and attempted murder charges. Now, the chief telling us that 2 handguns were recovered from that area. This all stemming from a dispute between the 3. The police chief telling us multiple times that these 3 individuals, he says, entered the mall with concealed weapons. 9 people were shot. So he says they entered the mall and then the shooting started. Again, when it came to talking about gun violence, the chief says something has got to change when it comes to this situation. So that is the latest that we have right now. We have much more information on our website for you right now, WLTX.com. As always, you can go to our Facebook page or Twitter. We're working to get additional details. We will have live team coverage when you join us later today for Friends at 5. We'll see you then.
Watching News 19. Did you see a story you loved? Download WLTX on your Roku or Amazon Fire device and watch it again right now.